I'm currently at a very top secret undisclosed location at a John Deere testing facility just outside of Des Moines, so it's not really secret at all. But we've got an autonomous tractor out here, fully autonomous. There's nobody in it right now. They've got a field set up. It's going back and forth here. Right now he's kind of messing with it, doing its pause thing. It's always learning. I don't know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think autonomous stuff is gonna happen. I know there's a lot of farmers that are skeptical about it, and I get those concerns, but I think there's a lot of smart people working on a lot of cool stuff, and I think it's here. But I could be wrong, I've been wrong before. You see, that's called talking in circles. When you're not that smart on a subject, you kind of do like a meteorologist thing. You just kind of talk yourself in a circle and don't say anything. It's also extremely windy out here, so I'm going to do my best to keep the camera somewhat out of the wind by hiding behind all the buildings and trees out here.
Want to get in it, around it? What do you want to do?
I want to go around it right now.
Okay.
Explain the lights again. So right now it is in autonomous mode. Is that right?
Basically an active autonomy, so it's safeguarding for anybody that would potentially approach the vehicle. But as we approach, like the lights will go out.
Okay.
Saying like, hey, and then we'll know on our phone like there's a human too close, so we can't resume until that we've cleared that area.
It'll let you know there's a human there. Okay. I'm gonna go stop the lights. Oh, it already found us.
Yep.
Okay.
So it detected us, and you can see there's cameras up on the rear of the cab. There's some cameras pointing this direction. There's some looking out to the rear.
So what's it saying? Potential human too close.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's using the same 6 cameras that it has that you can jump into on the app to actually see?
Right.
It's the same ones?
Right.
Okay.
And then you'll see there's a pod of cameras on the front weight bracket as well.
Yep.
And those cameras are looking out to the side and to the front.
Okay. Now this really is a regular 410 8R, is that correct?
Correct.
It's just got the, what do you call it, the autonomous package?
Right. So it's got cameras in here, across the rear, image processing, and then some redundant braking.
Okay, okay. So just a few pieces of hardware to add to it.
Right.
You said anything, not anything, but at least the 8Rs,
Yep.
2020 and newer.
Model year 20, 8R or newer.
You can add
You
this
can
to.
retrofit this technology onto that tractor. Or you could buy new 8Rs from the factory. If you're ordering one, there's now an autonomy ready option
Okay.
as well. So it comes autonomy ready to make the retrofit really quick.
And we can still ride in it.
Yep.
So I don't notice, I mean this page is new, that's all funky, but otherwise this is an 8R. There's nothing that feels different in here from the seat.
In the lower left hand corner, and just do new work. And
Just hit for,
and then you can close out of that, and then maybe we'll drive it over here somewhere in the middle of the field and point it that direction, and then we can start autonomy and let it do its thing. You can ride along.
okay.
Yeah. Autonomy.
Ooh, that's a new button. I've never seen that one before.
So
Turn it
you
on.
hit on. Yep. And you can do ride along since you're in here. And then okay. And it's just going to tell you, hey, somebody's in the cab. So it's going to run some checks, make sure the cameras are all online. It's checking its surroundings for obstacles or humans or vehicles. It's making sure the auto track system is ready to go. And it ran all those checks, and now it says that it's ready.
Okay.
And so to start autonomy in ride-along mode, all you're going to do is hit the auto track resume button once.
So I leave it in park and everything, and
Yep.
I just hit auto?
Correct. And it's going to honk the horn, flash the lights, warn anybody, and then it's going to do its thing.
So the machine has its own map laid out. It's all set up ahead of time. It knows what it needs to come out here and do. And when we started it, it drove down to the opposite end of the little 5-acre field or so out here. And now it set the implement down, it turned itself, it lined us up. It's kind of odd. It's fully autonomous, which is something new to me. I've never been in that. But yet, it's the same feel as like just auto steer and auto track turn automation.
That's right.
And except when that happens.
So
What did it sense?
it saw something. I don't know if it was the dust from the really strong wind today or not, but so we didn't do anything there. It detected an obstacle. It is already determined that obstacle is not a problem or is clear.
It's not a vehicle, it's not a big
Right.
tree branch, a rock, a human.
Right. And so it recovered on its own. It lifted the implement. It's going to back up for a small distance. To make
So it's
sure
going to
we
do
didn't
the
skid.
same thing as I would want to do if I was in here and I had to stop.
Right. So put the tool back down, and then we'll keep on doing tillage. And so if you were out doing something else, if you were out running the planter, you wouldn't have been bothered by that.
It's not going to send me a message. I don't need to run out here and fix
Right.
something. It would have done. It doesn't like the dust, does it?
Correct. So another, and it'll tell you. Yeah. Okay.
So again, it's already determined.
Right.
But
let's say it saw a person in
Yep.
front of the vehicle. Then it would stop, notify you, and say, "Hey, there's an issue," and you could view the video feed or the image of what stopped it, and get some information, and then react accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we adjust the sensitivity right now on a dusty day where the wind is crazy and we're obviously in dry soils here?
We
There's a lot of
can't.
dust.
You can't. However, kind of the nature of the beast with this computer vision, machine learning technology is it gets better over time. And so, if it hasn't been trained to handle this scenario very well, we are monitoring that and likely learning, hey, in really dry, dusty conditions, we need to make the system perform better so we can capture images, train the system to handle that, and it'll get better.
And that's the whole purpose of this area, right? This whole proving grounds out here.
Exactly.
This is exactly the type of thing you're trying to learn.
Exactly. And it's the reason we're out with dozens of customers, real customers doing real tillage out in the field right now with autonomy, is to learn what scenarios does it perform well in and which ones does it still need to get better at. And so a good example would be, this was a really wet spring. And so the previous 2 seasons were pretty dry. And so now we had wet spring, field work was delayed. What grows when field work gets delayed? Weeds. And so we had a lot of really tall weeds in the field this year. And so it was sensing tall weeds and thinking they were impassable obstacles.
Okay.
And that was a problem. And so now we're training the system to know, hey, that's a tall weed. And that might be a 3-foot tall weed, but you can till right through that. You don't have to stop for that.
Sure.
The other
So
thing,
there's obviously, like with anything new, especially when you get into something this high tech, there's going to be a learning curve. But that's why most people don't have this yet. That's why they're out here learning this kind of stuff every day. So you're not having to stop for dust and mare's tails.
correct.
Look at it's Ag with Emma out there. It's really her.
And then we'll start doing tillage the other direction.
All right, they've got all kinds of cool stuff going on here today. The autonomous stuff was the first thing that I wanted to see. So I'm trying to see stuff that I've never seen before. Now this planter out here, my understanding is it's an ExactEmerge planter with exact shot, but I've seen all that before, but I have not seen the Furrow Vision, and I don't really know that much about it, so I'm gonna learn. We've got a row unit here set up with the sensors on it, so they've got cameras and lasers looking down into the actual furrow. So it's looking forward into the openers and backwards into the closers. And the idea with this eventually is to automate the functions of the row unit. Is that be the right way to say that?
Yeah, so you hear a lot about John Deere talking about sense and act. And so for planting, we maybe lacked an advanced sensor to drive some action. So this is kind of a starting point for us to drive some row unit automation.
Yep.
How can we automate row cleaning, downforce, depth, closing system, all those things. Starting first with this kind of advanced sensing capability.
Yeah, so with the sensors, with the information we've got, so we got the camera right here, and the camera's gonna give you information here on the depth of the furrow, but along with that, eventually, we're gonna hopefully be able to automate the row cleaners here, so you can automate when it's gonna need to go up, down, more or less pressure. You can automate your depth of your furrow. You can automate your pneumatic force on your closing wheels. What else am I missing in that?
That's about it.
That's about it.
Core functions of the row unit.
How long before I can come up with a seed depth map and upload that to the tractor, and now I have variable rate depth across the field?
Yeah. So that's something we're working on. So Furrow Vision as the sensor will come out in 2025. And so we're kind of building towards a roadmap as we get into 27 to start to bring some of these automation capabilities full circle.
All right, we got another 8R. So same thing. I mean, just an 8R tractor, right? With a standard like type of planter is what I run. We've got a 1775.
Yep.
And so same thing that I run on our videos. But now I want to go in and see the Furrow Vision deal.
Yep, let's do it.
Whoa, wait a second. What is that?
That's the new info display monitor for 2024 on the 8Rs.
Oh, that's awesome. I had not seen that yet. Now I'm bummed. I don't have that.
We can get them.
That's pretty. Okay, so that is a camera. Is that looking forward? That's looking at the closers?
Yep. That's
Okay.
actually no. That's looking at your opening discs.
Or that's what? Okay, that's
Yeah,
what I meant.
that's
Because I
looking
think I
straight.
could see the gauge wheels there for a second.
Yep, that's right.
Okay,
So
and
that
we can
laser-
change the camera.
Yep.
Oh, so it's the same camera. We're just talking. There's 3 on the planter. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
You got one for each wing and one for your center section.
Do we have? Can we look towards the closers?
We can.
Not on this
no,
one.
No, not for Furrow Vision. We don't look
Oh,
towards
not
the
at all.
closers.
Oh,
Yep.
then I must have misspoke back there. 'Cause I thought there was a sensor going backwards also. But
No, only
It-
forward.
there you can see the laser mark there that it's using to get the depth reading. So we're picking up now. I've always wondered how long it's going to be before I can adjust the depth of the planter from the cab. I can adjust everything else from the cab. I can't adjust the depth. But
Correct.
now you guys are taking it a step further, and it sounds like the goal eventually would be like to autonomize the row unit itself, everything about it.
Yep, that's our goal. That's part of our 2030 ambition goals for autonomy and automation. So that's definitely on our roadmap. It's something we are working on right now. Is depth prescriptions and depth adjustability in the cab.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. So then, can you add Furrow Vision to a planter like mine that doesn't have it? It's a newer planter, ExactEmerge planter.
Yes,
You can.
we can.
Like through a puck
through-
upgrade.
Yep, through
Okay.
a performance upgrade. Yep, it will be available actually for sale in about a month.
Okay.
And everything's going to run through performance upgrades for this product next year and the following year, and then we're looking at a couple of years out for a factory integration where you can buy it with a new planter from the
Okay.
factory.
So it'll be available as a puck kit first.
Yes.
Okay. There, the light must be hitting it better. You can see the gauge wheels a lot better there. You can see that laser line.
Like, man, where did they get that out? I'd like to eat some of that hay.
What happens with the rest of the plant then? Where does it separate the cotton from the stock?
So a picker with the spindle will just pick off the cotton off the plant.
Which is what this is doing.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, so a picker does not need a cleaner on board because it's doing a pretty clean job since it just picks cotton off. Some trash gets in there, some leaves, some trash. But a cotton stripper has a different header which brushes everything off the plant, and it takes the burrs with it where the cotton is in. And then it has an onboard gin called a burr extractor. That's where it separates the cotton and the burrs.
Now, is this a wear piece? Like, do you have to change those or?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
How many years have you been running a cat picker?
Not fun. to
No,
teach.
it does not.
I haven't run a cotton picker in a while, but we have cotton strippers, so many years.
You don't work for John Deere.
No.
You're a farmer out of West Texas.
Yes.
Well, how does it separate? I'm still confused how this can pull the cotton off without the rest of the stock. Is it because the cotton is high and you don't run it low? Or how does it do that at the head?
So these are actually a little bit sharp,
Yep.
and it'll grab the cotton. There's these moisture pads right here. So these are the moisture pads, and it runs water with it's like a soap type solution, and that keeps these spindles will run right past these what is it called?
Moisture pads.
Moisture pads.
So they're like spindle cleaners?
Nope, it just keeps them wet. Yeah, keeps them moist.
Are we ready
Because
to fire this
they
thing
need to be
up?
moist to grab cotton.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
For okay, I got you there.
And it does help keep them clean.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And then back here,
We're going to take it. So he's pulling that over in here now. And then
Do these things ever plug? Like, do you ever get a big wad of cotton in there you got to get and dig out?
yes, all the time you get weeds, a big old weed,
But-
or if a cotton plant pulls out,
Yep.
if you hit it wrong,
And
it'll clog this,
What's the worst weed in West Texas for cotton? Mare's tail?
pigtail,
Pigtail.
pigweed, my bad.
Pigweed like an amaranth.
Amaranth pigweed.
Okay.
Tumbleweeds, because tumbleweeds will just get stuck in here. And then, so yeah, back here it's hard to see, but back here is what's called the doffer. The spindle brushes right against that doffer. It's a rubber doffer, and that's what brushes the cotton off.
Okay.
Back here you have your air that pushes it into that duct over there. The air comes from down here, and it's blowing that way.
Where's the fan for that?
It is in the middle of the machine.
So it's pulling a vacuum through there?
Yes.
Okay. So is this the same as the
This is Dolpher right here.
the Dolpher?
Dolpher brush. Dolpher, probably saying it wrong.
It's like that's like a cleaning brush also, or separation.
This is what brushes the cotton off the spindle. So since these spindles, you know, grabs the cotton,
Yep.
they're kind of, it's grabbing it, kind of holding it.
So is this oil or is this just water and dirt
It's oil.
coming from?
From the heads. You see all that oil? These
Yep.
have got to be greased every 6 to 8 hours, I think.
How does that not get in the cotton so much?
It just doesn't.
It just doesn't. There's too much cotton coming in, not enough oil.
This needs to be oiled. This is where it greases it. You got a lot going on in here.
I've been up close to a cotton picker before when we were in California with Randy and Trevor, but I've never seen one run. I want to see one actually picking cotton. Why are the rear axles so narrow? So Ubri Farms over here, he's a drone guy and a West Texas cotton farmer. You should go follow him because he's going to answer the question, why are the back axles, why is it so narrow?
Why is it so narrow?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Ah, see, people ask me questions about certain things a lot too that I don't know. It just is what it is.
I guess they've all been like that, so I've never asked it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Understood. So thanks for nothing. Look at Kip Siegler up there just acting like he owns that thing. My next venture, when we venture out and try to go, you know, visit other farms and stuff like we've done in the past, I want to go see some cotton harvest. So who's out there? It's got to be somewhere nice, and I got to be able to get there like when it's not nice in Minnesota. Not at a time of year when I'm busy, but let's go do some cotton harvest. There we go. So that's where, yeah, it's like a round baler. It's round bales?
Yes.
Okay. And it'll drop those on the go as it's harvesting cotton into the accumulator up there, which would be like our hopper tank on a grain combine. It's like a transformer. There we go. All right.
Sharp circle.
So far,
So you guys,
this is
as long as you stay to the left of like
essentially
where that
a combine
tillage
cab.
implement is, you guys should be good. You got this whole little area right here that we can tootle around in. There's nobody in this finger. So I would say stay to the left or stay to the right of the tillage implement and out here in the open and we're good.
just can't fire it up.
Yeah, just don't start the whole everything.
All right.
But very, very, very similar controls to a combine. You got the main machine, then you've also got the header, and then as you can see, the Command Pro there's very similar to
Yep.
what you see on the combine.
Yep, that's exactly like our 780. That's different. Is that showing
That's showing
like
your bail.
the bale?
It's showing that it's open
Your
right now.
accumulator.
Like,
Yeah.
I guess the bottom pieces of the handler back there, it's showing that it's open. And
Oh, okay. So yeah, the back is open.
Yep.
There's no bale in here being wrapped, and the accumulator's empty.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Well, so far, I mean, it's exactly like running our 780 combine. I mean, everything's the same other than what you're looking at as far as the job that you're doing. But the header goes up and down same way. You can set your header heights on it. It's going to sense the header heights. All the controls back here are the same. Now they've got, instead of Harvest Smart, they've got HID Cotton Pro. So you were saying that when it drops the bale, it's going to tag them,
Yes.
and it's got a serial number.
Yep.
And then when it goes to the gin,
To the gin, yes.
then they can actually scan that. They know exactly where the bale came from and like what the moisture content is.
Yeah, weight and moisture content, yep.
Weight and moisture content. So that's
Yep.
like a blockchain kind of. Like
It
it's
is,
keeping
yeah.
track of where that cotton came from.
Yeah, an easier way of I guess keeping track of everything.
Yeah, that's really cool. 8 and then C. So
look at
eight's-
the chart right there, Zach.
Yep.
You can see what you're doing there. So 8 is essentially which mode you're going to be in, and then once it goes all the way to the right on 8, hit C, and it'll start bringing everything up.
Do I have to hold it?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna fold up. So that's moving the accumulator. There we go. Now the big thing's moving.
Wow. Keep your hands back. That's right. Hands and arms inside the vehicle all the time.
That's a lot of steel moving.
Locking in right there. Look at that. Locking right on that tip.
to this puzzle
Yeah.
of steel?
It's like a combine round baler, all mixed into one.
All right, we're headed out to see the See and Spray machine now. So they got a sprayer running back here, running See and Spray. I need a professional.
Sure.
Give me the quick rundown on the See and Spray here.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier where you're able to do the residual and the systemic herbicides at once, right? Using the
Absolutely.
same nozzle bodies.
So we have a dual product system, independent lines for plumbing, and then we have a dual product exact apply nozzle body. So we can split out the residual and the non-residual. We can run 2 residuals simultaneously that if tank mix might antagonize and lead to a less than desirable outcome, we can keep those separated but still get them onto the crop at the same time. This particular machine, tank 1, 600 gallons, tank 2, 1,000 gallons, so you can broadcast out of that tank 2, put your residual blanket down on all your acres, while then also running your non-residual out of that tank 1 and do the targeted apply with See and Spray.
And you're doing that with one nozzle bank, I guess is probably be the way to say it. Like you don't have 2 sets of nozzles on there.
Correct. Yeah, it's a 6
on the same bank though.
It's a 6 turret exact apply nozzle body, so the A nozzle and B nozzle will be spraying simultaneously.
Yep.
And then you can manually rotate the turret around for different nozzle combinations you may want to run for your program.
Are they on separate pumps then?
Yeah.
Each tank is a separate pump?
Yep. Own pump, own agitation, 1/4-inch line that goes all the way down, boom, end to end, down to the nozzle body.
So the nozzles then, are they on the same, they can't be on the same line?
So the way that, so there's a, when you get up and you check it out, it looks like a single line, but there's actually 2 about 1/2-inch lines that are connected there.
Okay.
So the products run side by side, and then you've got recirc and reclaim as well. But yeah, the products will run side by side down to the nozzle body, but they are completely separate the entire time they're on board the machine.
Okay.
Even
That
if-
seems like a really clean way to do that.
Even if you were to do like a single product or a single tank mode and run them together, you'll still have those 2 independent tanks.
So you can see some of them turning, or maybe they're all turning on now. They're applying really heavily.
Right now, so it's a little bit weedier, but once they start to get going here, you'll start to hear it and see it, like it'll kick on and off.
So there it's kicking on and off, it's sensing the weeds. So it's got, well, I'll let you explain it because I don't know real well, but it's using a camera to
Yeah.
pick up the weeds ahead of time.
So we have a CVML technology that's running with See and Spray. There's 36 cameras that sit out along across the boom. And they're all stitched together looking for basically whatever is not the crop you said you were going to spray. So in this case, we're spraying soybean. If we see a weed or if we see volunteer corn, it's going to apply, but it's only going to apply when that's detected. We're at 15 miles an hour in this particular field, scanning about 2,500 square feet a second, and we're deciding in milliseconds if we see something that's not a soybean plant, and then only applying when and where we need to.
Okay, so for this example now that it's just applying water, but before it dries up, you can kind of see, hopefully the camera does pick that up, where, you know, it sprayed the grassy spots here, it sprayed the volunteer corn.
Yep.
Out here it's dry because it didn't see any of the weeds. So you can kind of see the spots through there where it's just picking it up, and you can kind of see the nozzles dancing
Absolutely.
as they sense the weeds.
Yep. No, you hit it exactly.
And what do they say that, like, on that systemic herbicide that you're actually using the See and Spray on, you're saving about 70, on average 70%?
Yeah, so with See and Spray Ultimate, the machine we're running here, we've got chemical savings of more than 2/3.
Of more than 2, so yeah, 65, 70,
Yep.
75, depending on the field, obviously.
Depending on the field, depending on the weed pressure. Right?
Yep.
But yeah, more than 2/3 is the marketing message you'll see us talk about.
So for me as a farmer, obviously there's a big benefit there economically to me because I'm not spending as much money on chemicals, but environmentally as well, we're not spraying everything, you know, we're not just applying a blanket application in the same way we variable rate fertilizer. We're kind of variable rating our chemical where we need it and not putting it where we don't need it. So there's multiple advantages to this. So here's the two
Yeah, it's 2 different lines of
individual
plumbing
half-inch
here.
lines.
And then if you get it down low, you can see, so we're gonna broadcast out of this A nozzle here. And then the See and Spray nozzle is actually always pointed ever so slightly backwards.
Okay.
That gives us that half fraction of a second time that we need to make the decision.
Yep.
But so you're going to be able to broadcast out of the A nozzle, See and Spray out of the B nozzle, or you can broadcast out of the A nozzle and the B nozzle.
And this is a carbon boom.
Carbon fiber truss style. Yep.
Truss style carbon. So it's not the tubular or the modular
Right,
anymore.
We've had that monotube for a while. This is an entirely redesigned boom that uses carbon fiber so we can get the durability and the ruggedness that we need, but saves all of the weight so we can add it back with the cameras and the processors, the 2 independent lines for plumbing, all of that additional weight.
So the 2 tanks on this machine are completely independent from each other. They've got their own systems entirely, their own pumps, their own agitation, their own lines. You don't have to do like a residual and a systemic herbicide on this at the same time. You could actually make 2 passes as though you're running 2 different machines if you've got different products. Pretty cool. How neat is that? We cut across the farm and now I'm into a world that I don't know a whole lot about. I'm into Randy the Master Pipe Layer's world now. This is not my bread and butter. I've run an excavator, maybe for a total of 20 minutes. Probably not that long in my whole life. And I certainly couldn't tell you the first thing about the technology inside of them. But I'm gonna see if I can try it out. They've got some graders going down there as well, but my camera's running out of battery and we're almost out of time, so I'm going for the X first. I've got hose. I got hose. I am not a patient man and they're taking too long, so I'm gonna go down here. All right, I've got thousands of hours in green equipment and exactly 0 in a road grader, so I'm gonna build a racetrack. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yep.
Yep. Right, okay. That's grade control monitor, you said?
Yep,
Okay.
smart grade.
Okay. I don't have a clue what else is going on in here.
Yeah, we'll walk
Nothing.
through all of it.
I'm really doing it, Harry. I'm driving a road grader. Now I've done a terrible job. I don't want to show you behind me. I've been pretty good at gouging the blade down. Now I'm driving one-handed, so look at that. Look at that. Never operated a road grader before. Pretty neat. Maybe a little bit like a giant skid steer. Definitely not easy to operate with one hand while you're running a camera. I was pretty slow the first half, but then I started getting the hang of it at the end.
Yeah, you had your blade adjustment.
I was good at digging in at the beginning
and
here,
then you
yeah.
kind of figured it out. So
Yeah.
this next circle, go ahead and hit this top button on here. That engages our autos. So you felt that blade snap to grade.
Yep.
So now based on our GPS position and the file we have in there, we can now go ahead and build our racetrack. So now go ahead and do another lap and feel free to shift up the gears and speed it up a little bit more.
So now all I need to do is steer.
Yep, all you're doing is
And control
steering now,
speed.
and the blade elevation is based on our GPS location in our file.
Okay. So it's not, if I bump it, what if I try to lift up on it? Does it kick it out?
If you pull back, as long as you don't go outside that working window, it'll snap back to grade.
It will, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So now we've got the smart grade system on, so all I'm doing is steering using the joystick here and controlling the speed. And the blade is automatically adjusting itself to work within the project boundaries. That is a big, obviously like the biggest thing, weight lifted off when you're in this thing, because obviously that's the main thing you're doing, is trying to stay within grade. There you can really feel probably where I made it unlevel before, where now it's adjusting to fix that. You can't feel it. I can feel it. There I can really feel it. Well, that was a fun experience. Never done that one before. There's an X9 on tracks with a 40-foot draper head over the hill. Everybody thinks that's the coolest thing here, but like for me, I've run that before. Stupid double hats. Well, I'm home. So that whole event down there in Des Moines was a really cool deal. John Deere invited myself and a few other farming, I'm not going to say the word influencers because I hate that word, creators, farming social media people down there, along with some construction social media people and some tech social media people. So the whole idea really was to kind of show off the latest and greatest in technology and some of the stuff that John Deere is working on, some of the stuff they can show us anyway up to this point. Just some really cool technology, and give people a feel for how advanced some of this tech is within agriculture. You know, it's not quite as simple as throwing seed in the ground and up comes the corn. Up comes the corn. Maybe the politicians were right. I do need a little more gray matter. But while I was gone, look at what happened out here. So this is a part of the new dryer sitting over here. We got excavating things that have happened here. We knocked out all the concrete because the concrete for the new dryer needs to be considerably deeper. So they were in here, took some of the black soil out. We're gonna dig down. I'm not sure. I don't know why there's gravel in here right now, because they need to get down way deeper for the new dryer to handle a lot more weight. We're gonna be running new conduit here for electrical lines, mounting a panel up there. This is all gonna kind of be changed around. We're gonna move the exchanger back here to get the air lines run a little bit differently. It's a whole thing. And this is the top section of the new Sukup dryer. The rest of it is to come yet. It's gonna take several loads going down to Watertown, South Dakota, where they pick it up. That's not where they're built, but that's where they come into anyway, and then from there they head up this way. Jim and Dad also got a whole bunch of corn hauled while I was gone, so it was kind of nice. You know, I disappear for a couple of days and everybody else gets stuff done. And then I come home and I feel like an idiot. I guess that's just the sacrifice that I have to make in order to bring you guys genuine entertainment.
Well, see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching. One last thing, speaking of tech, this whole video was recorded on a completely different camera than I normally use. Let me know what you guys think. Better? Worse? Pros and cons?